Well, hello there, motherfuckers. After a big pay-per-view like No Mercy, here we are once again, a whole week removed from it, and still, I praise the pay-per-view. I say it's a good pay-per-view. Some knuckleheads on the internet are saying it's not good for whatever reason, not giving any particular reasons. They're trying as hard as they can to say that Cena and Reigns wasn't a good match. All these other matches we get with like Owens and shit and stuff, that's okay. Let's overrate the fuck out of those matches. But the actual matches that have the stories behind them, let's try to underrate those. And that's the spiel that's been going on the YWC for a while. Praise the indie darlings, and all the guys that actually have star power. Why do you want to destroy wrestling so bad? I don't fucking get this. What is the need to really undermine wrestling? Getting back to where it needs to be again, so it can be fucking popular. Don't you want wrestling to be popular again so you don't look like so much of a schmuck being a fan of it? But no, let's just keep watching boring matches and, pointless promos and half-hearted storylines as the WWE continues to have half-empty arenas. We started off with Braun Strowman defeating Seth Rollins, and I can't help but feel that this is an empty way to start off the show. Last week you start off with Miz TV. It was a good way coming off, Roman beating Cena to have Roman, open the show. But, not this week. And I can't help but feel underwhelmed. So people are like classifying this as a rampage, having a match where Seth Rollins is getting in a lot of offense is not really my idea of a rampage. Okay, so Dean comes in, after he beats Seth, and then Braun beats him up. Then Sheamus and Cesaro come in and they beat them up. This is, pretty standard stuff. Like I said, coming off a pay-per-view where Braun Strowman should be infuriated that he lost. I'm not seeing Rampage, I'm not seeing him extra angry or really saying anything or doing anything backstage. I mean, you don't see any of this. That would be it for Braun for the night. Oh, what a rampage. The guy was in the world title match. He closes No Mercy, and then he's opening the show, and you never see him again. What's up with the formatting on the show? So Mickie James is backstage. Alicia Fox and Emma are laughing at her. Mickie James walks into her locker room and she sees a box of Depends and the walker. And she gets like super angry over it. And to me, it's like, would this really like anger an adult? Oh my God, a box of Depends! Ah! I mean, is this like something to get upset over? I don't get it. It's kind of like if we were like, if somebody points at a pair of false teeth, and says, "Oh, you should wear those." Am I gonna go, ah? You know what I mean? Like, just react like, just overkill, basically. And that's not her fault. They're telling her to overreact to this situation. But it's like silly. Okay, I know it's like supposed to be insulting. I get the psychology behind it. Alexa put that stuff there to anger Mickie, saying she's old. But is she that self-conscious about her age? This is the baby face, and to me, it seems like Alexa Bliss is the more confident of the two. Mickie James last week is like, telling Alexa that her boobs are small and that she needs, just a training bra. And now she's like, Mickey is getting super offended over a fucking box of Depends. It's not like, what would have really been funny if they did this, especially later on the night in the match? If maybe like Alexa got the box of Depends and maybe dumped all the pads on top of her. Now that would have been humiliating. That would have been heelish. And that I could understand that, like, after she recovered, if she, like, ripped it off and she was, like, super angry. But backstage, just seeing a box of Depends sends Mickey into a psychotic rage. It's just like the reactions to these things. It's like what I say when they do some of these insults. The insults are things that not even kindergartners would get like annoyed by. She demands, Alexa come out of the locker room, but Nia Jax challenges her to a match. She accepts. Elias Sampson defeated Titus. This was very basic, storyline 1 week. We're already resolved by the next week. They don't know what the fuck to do with this guy, which is just hilarious. The guy's got a gimmick that, they're not necessarily doing it very well with this gimmick, but Elias is doing what he can. He's got the look. The guy looks like a jacked up Seth Rollins Macho Man hybrid. He definitely looks like a star. But they don't know how to book this guy. They don't know how to write him a storyline, much like the majority of the roster. They don't even know what to do with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, for fuck's sakes. They gave these guys big spots on the pay-per-view, and we fast forward 1 week and we're in complete obscurity already. Mickie James defeated Nia Jax when Alexa interfered. Mickie got a chance to stand tall after kicking Alexa. It looked like she was about to beat her with the tornado DDT. My only problem here is I'm happy they finally made Mickie look strong. It's really funny. It's like Mickey's been on this roster the whole fucking year, right? And it's like all of a sudden they just discovered that Mickey's on the roster. Oh, you know what? Let's start pushing her, like, out of the fucking blue. I don't understand. Like, well, where was she all this other time? How do you explain this all of a sudden? Like, Mickie James was there. She was at a couple of your WrestleManias. Being a 6-time champion, putting her on the back burner looked retarded. At least they're doing something with her now, but why does it come at the expense of Nia Jax? Why do they have so many problems? Okay, they protected her, but after the match, she's still laying down for like several minutes after the DDT. I mean, if she's supposed to be a monster, she would have recovered quickly. It's just, they're making her look weak, and she should be strong because that's her character. She's Nia fucking Jax. The best things since Sliced Bread defeated Matt and Jason Jordan. There you go. Again, it doesn't matter if it's Matt or Jeff or Jordan and Matt. They're always going to lose, which I found surprising and flat. Like, these guys haven't won in a while. So all of a sudden, they just have them fucking win out of the blue. The Gallows and Anderson. So, this feels like a disjointed win out of the blue. Like, they were losing and losing. And that's the sad thing, is that Matt Hardy and Jason Jordan are losing to a team that basically always loses. So that makes them look like fucking double losers, basically. I'm not understanding the booking decisions here. Roman Reigns defeated The Miz by disqualification when Sheamus and Cesaro interfered. They beat the shit out of Roman, which is like, he just beat Cena. And a week later, I could see a Braun Strowman beat him up. That's where I thought that they were going. But instead of going to Roman versus, no, where I was going is not Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar. I thought that that's where they were going to go next, start building towards Survivor Series. But instead, it would appear to me that we're going to have a Shield reunion. So, the thing with Ambrose and Seth Rollins getting beat up, that happened first. They did a little interview backstage prior to this, where Roman mentions what happens to them. And Roman says he's going to stay focused. So then Sheamus and Cesaro are here beating him up. So where's Dean and Seth? We're having a big reunion, and then all of a sudden you've got nobody. Nobody is backstage or anything like this. I'm not getting it. Where exactly are they? Later on in the night, they do a silent thing where Roman approaches Dean, or Dean and Seth approach Roman rather, and they just look at each other, and then they go their separate ways, and it's like a silent communication thing. But like, where are they to save them? Like, if they're supposed to be reforming, where were Dean and Seth during this segment? They just let Roman get beat up, and then they do that little something later on. What? Finn Balor comes out. He says that he's not much of a talker. And then, he says, I'm a fighter. And the thing is, you're bad at both. You're bad at both. Then Bray gets on the Titantron. He's going wacky. He's saying that she never lied to me. He's talking about Sister Abigail, and he says now that Sister Abigail is alive. She's dead. She's alive. She's dead again. She's alive. I don't know what the story is this fucking week, but okay, she's alive. And they did a cool thing where his face started to become a demon. So, I don't really even understand. That was a cool little effect they did. I like that. So, I guess you could say I like that part of the segment. But what is this? So, he beat the demon. He beat the man. The guy behind the demon. And now we're back to him saying, beat a demon again, but go deeper. Like, okay, so what is Finn Balor supposed to do now in this match? Is he going to go back to being the demon? What is Bray Wyatt? Is Bray Wyatt going to come out looking different? Are they going to have a woman be Sister Abigail, which was the plan years ago? I don't really get, like, okay, so they've went so far with this feud, they're like, I'm confused. If they follow this up next week, that's one thing. But if they don't, then this just doesn't make any fucking sense at all. I mean, you told him to put the paint on, take the paint off, now put it back on again, and, stick your finger up your ass and do the do-si-do. I don't know what they're planning on doing here, but it's just like, where do you go from here? They've already had 20 matches already, and now we have to have another one. Sasha Banks and Bayley defeated Emma and Alicia Fox. Emma walked out on Alicia. And where was Alicia during all this time? She's in 205 Live. She comes back. And then Emma just walks out in the match. Like, what's the point of that? They've only been together for one night, and she's already walking out on her. What kind of storytelling is that? Who the fuck cares about this match anyway? Enzo comes to the ring, and he talks about the clause that if anybody laid a hand on him, they're going to be fired. Not fired, but they're not going to get a title shot, I mean. Kurt Angle says that's right. The whole Cruiserweight division comes out again. He says he took the joke that I said about Mustafa or Mufasa, whatever the hell that guy's name is. And he said that he must be embarrassed that his family named him after the Lion King. Um, Enzo is top quality entertainment, which is hilarious to me that all these fucking smarks and fanboys are complaining about Enzo. They're complaining about the guy. And this guy's going out there and he's cutting these funny promos where he's showing a lot of personality, more personality than we got on this whole fucking show. We got to see a real character here. So then Kurt Angle says that there's one guy, that's not affected by the clause because all the cruiserweights laid a hand on him last week, and that's Callisto. Callisto comes to the ring and he beats up Enzo. Okay, so here's the thing about this, which I don't understand. So Enzo, he just won this belt. He's out there. He's injured and all that. And now all of a sudden, this guy Callisto comes back out of the blue. And I'm just like looking at it like, okay. So this guy hasn't even been on TV. So I understand that they want to make the guy look strong. Whatever. Make the guy look strong and all that. But, having him, this is his challenger. And they flash like, they flash to Neville and everything and his reaction. So why don't they just find a way? Why are they doing this fucking stupid clause in the first place? I'd much rather see them continue Neville and Enzo, the two guys with charisma. But instead, we're going back to a guy with a mask. A guy that doesn't know how to talk. And this is the storyline we're supposed to tell. So it's very apparent to me that Enzo is going to have to carry this whole fucking thing. And we're going to have Callisto, I don't know, he's going to have to get by somehow. I know he's talked before in some promos, but like, what is Enzo really supposed to do with this guy? You look at this guy with the fucking mask and you look at Enzo and you're like, you know who the stars are. Callisto ain't Rey Mysterio. I said in the past that maybe if they played their cards right, they could market this guy like Mysterio, but then I realized, what the fuck am I even saying? I'm talking about current WWE that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Of course they don't know how to market the guy. They have no idea how to make this guy their next Mysterio. So that ain't going to happen. So, I don't know why they're doing this clause about these guys now can't get a cruiserweight. They'll probably come back to it eventually with Neville. But this feud with Callisto seems like a waste of time. And then we go off the air. Roman looks to the left and he sees Dean. Looks to the right and he sees Seth. They nod at each other and they all walk away. Why they didn't just do this is beyond me. And like I said, if I were Roman, I'd get up and say, where were you guys? Why didn't you save me? It's understandable why Roman didn't come out to save Dean and Seth. That was at the beginning of the show. But later on, Dean and Seth, where is the receipt? They should have came out. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's to beat up Roman, but it was a chance to beat up Sheamus and Cesaro. And they just completely overlooked that. I don't know. That just drove me crazy thinking about how stupid and retarded that was. Anyway, guys, this show, wow, this one fucking sucked. What a horrible fucking show. And I know people are going to overrate this show because of the last segment. This is what we're doing with Roman Reigns. So you came this fucking far with Roman Reigns having him beat Cena, having him beat The Undertaker, having him beat everybody. And then all of a sudden, we're going to come all the way back to the beginning. Why the fuck does Roman Reigns, I understand why Dean and Seth need to be in this team because they haven't done enough with these guys to really truly get them over. They almost had Seth over, but they failed with that. When he came back, after the injury, they had no fucking idea what to do with the guy once again. But Roman, how hard is it to figure it out that the next step is to have him challenge for the world title? You had the guy beat Cena just a week ago. He beat Cena just a week ago. And here we are, and he's back to where he started from his roots. Besides nostalgia that only ended 3 years ago. Only 3 years ago. And we're already going back to it. Do you guys really need to see the Shield? And it's only been a 3-year absence? I just find this to be completely pointless and counterproductive to Roman Reigns' career. Fuck the other two guys, Dean and Seth. I don't know. I don't view them as world champion material. But Roman Reigns, I mean, you put all this stock into this guy, and you're going to have him in some fucking 6-man tag? Is that what we're going to do with TLC? I hope that's it. I hope it's a one-off and that's it. I'm pretty sure that it is, but I'm just saying it is a complete distraction. So after that, please go back to Reigns, and he goes after the world title with Brock at Survivor Series. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see this fucking shit with the Shield. I have no interest in this. Why do I want to see this again? I've already saw the Shield already. Seen 2 years worth of that shit. And we're already going back to it again. Pointless. I don't get it. I don't get why they're wasting their time with this retarded fucking bullshit. You already had this guy beating one of the biggest stars of all time. 2 of them this year. 2 of them. And you're building this guy up. You're giving him all these wins. He's ready for the world title. That's the next logical step up. Let's have him in a 6-man tag. I don't get it. Terrible Raw. Anyway, motherfuckers, this has been your YWC champ. Signing out.